Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to our session today. Thank you for accepting our invitation and joining us. We are the ESL Teacher Trainee Batch 7, and we are all established teachers here to enhance our knowledge. In our classrooms and work environment, we often come across such instances where we see many people getting discriminated for race, religion, color, gender, and several reasons. All of us have faced such situations, and we have our own personal unpleasant experiences as well. The world simply has become extremely judgmental. You wear a short dress, you're judged. You cover too much, you're judged. You're thin, you're judged. You're fat, you're still judged. You are judged and discriminated for anything and everything, regardless of your personal opinions and intentions. The root of all of this is education, and education comes from us teachers. Today, in the month of June, we take the opportunity of this thematic program to address one such discrimination that is faced by the LGBT community around the world. We have with us three volunteers, Anne, Veronica, and Frank, who have offered to enlighten us on June, the Pride Month. Thank you, Anne, Veronica, and Frank, for your kind gesture. I would like to start off by asking, what is Pride Month? Why is June Pride Month?
That's a great question to start with, Shazmin. The Pride Month is the time of the year when the LGBT community comes together, impact that they have had for all around the world, which happens to be celebrated during the same month following the first parade that took place after the Stonewall riots.
We often hear the word LGBT, but what exactly is LGBT?
Actually, LGBT is an initialism that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. It is an umbrella term used to refer to the community as a whole. These terms are used to describe a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. Whether or not LGBT people are openly identify themselves may depend on whether they live in a discriminatory environment as well as the status of LGBT rights where one lives.
Okay. May I ask, where did this originate from?
Originated from following the Stonewall riots in 1969, and the first parade was taken place in 1970. The first Pride Month was declared by President Bill Clinton in 1999 and 2000 as the Gay and Lesbian Pride Month. Then President Barack Obama proclaimed June to be the LGBT Pride Month from 2009 to 2016. And President Joe Biden further expanded the observance to LGBT, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer Pride Month back in 2021, which we are still following.
Is it just a thing in the US, or is it recognized elsewhere as well?
Not just many. It happens all over the world, including Colombo. It is speaking about Sri Lanka. It is organized by Equal Ground, and the first Pride event was in 2005, which was held in Taj Samudra with 300 people. By now, it has increased.
Interesting. And you mentioned Stonewall riots. Can you explain what that is?
Well, Shazmin, it's a bit long story, but it's one of the most significant and historical events of the LGBT history of the United States. In June 28, 1969, a riot broke out in front of Stonewall Inn in New York City. This violent protest became known as the Stonewall Riots. It's also known as Stonewall Uprising. This was a watershed moment in the gay rights movement, sparking activism and awareness across the United States. Like back in the 1950s and 60s, homosexuality was illegal in 49 states. And in society, members of the LGBTQ community were often subjected to violence, harassment, and discrimination. So in New York City, gay bars like Stonewall Inn were havens for people with diverse sexual orientations and gender identities, because in those places, they could avoid violence and harassment. However, the patrons were not fully safe from homophobia and discrimination, because police used to raid these places regularly. So this oppression and mistreatment came to a head in the early mornings of June 28, 1969. And the police officers entered the Stonewall Inn in a raid. The patrons were fed up with the discriminative law enforcement, and they resisted the police. So, and outside the bar, people in the hundreds began rioting. They threw bottles at the police, pushed through the barricades, and then these angry mob grew into thousands, and the riots continued for days. And this large-scale defiance made a huge impact on the society. The Stonewall riots were the beginning of the modern gay and LGBTQ liberation movement, which also brought the attention to other marginalized, others marginalized for their sexual and gender orientation. So the riots sparked from these riots sparked the formation of Gay Liberation Front, which is the first group to publicly advocate for equal gay rights. And on the 1 year anniversary of these riots, they also organized the first gay pride parade in New York City. Today, in cities across the United States as well as around the world. And in 2016, President Obama made Stonewall Inn and the area outside where the riots broke out a national monument. So this became the first national monument celebrating gay history. And through the Stonewall riots, the gay rights movement and the LGBTQ rights movement gained mainstream visibility. And it remains a momentum that continues to this day.
Thank you for that insight. Moving on to statistics when it comes to the LGBT communities, our reactions, the world in gender, how we react to the LGBT community. It is known that 1.8 million LGBTQ youth consider suicide each year, but teachers have the power to change that. We are the teachers. I would like to ask you all, have you as teachers come across such situations that you would like to share with us?
Yes, Jasmine, like in Sri Lanka, especially when it comes to Sri Lanka, we are much more in frame. Like we have our own customs, we have our own culture, our religions, beliefs and stuff and all, right? So when it comes to the school, these LGBT community children, the students, they feel a lot of discriminated within the school premises, not only within the school, but in their families, in their relatives, friends, and everyone that they know. If they feel that this child is different, they keep on bullying them. A lot of harassment goes on with them. So, and also they don't have the chance to speak out about their privacy. They don't have any privacy at all. Right. And also they don't have the chance to speak about their feelings, about their thoughts. Even if they speak out loud, they will be to have their expression. They don't have the right to express their gender ability or the gender expressions. Like if they want, now if it is a girl, if she wants to wear as a boy, like she will be labeled as a tomboy, and you will be discriminated a lot, right? When it comes to the school society, we see that there are many students who struggle within themselves to recover this situation. They try a lot. Because of this situation, they go backwards in their studies. They don't have the academic level that they could reach. They are unable to come forward and present their talents. So they have been rejected because of this situation. I have come across this boy, and since mostly more than a student, he has been a friend. And he always wanted to become like he was feeling like he's a female. He was more interested in female stuff about clothes and how to wear, how to speak, how to walk and stuff like that. And always he has been rejected from his society. So he tried a lot within himself. He tried a lot. He gave a big struggle to come out of it. Later on, he decided that he will move on with this and he will understand the inner person in him. So he took the courage. He was brave enough, and he arranged some money and he went out of the country. And he selected a society where he can be open about himself. So he did it, and later on, few years back, now it has been 10 years that he has changed himself to a her. And later she has, in 2018, she was the transgender model who represented Sri Lanka in an international model competition. So it is one of the successful story because he found himself and he was able to get the support from the society that he wanted to have. But if he was stuck in himself, he would have been in the same place, or maybe he would have suicided himself and maybe he has gone out of his life. So I think it's our duty.
Yes.
Wow, that's also interesting and a touching story, which reminds me of a personal experience in the school. So I always knew that I liked boys, even when I was a kid. But growing up in a small town in Sri Lanka, where the access to internet was a luxury, the only thing I had heard about homosexuality, a word that was taboo to use, is that it either goes away over time or it can be cured. It was 2010. I was 15 and I had just hit my puberty. And my feelings towards men were only growing. They weren't going away anywhere, as I had heard before. I'm not too sure why, but it's probably because I believed whatever that was different about myself had something to do with the size of my body. I opened up to my science teacher and asked her if it was ever going to go away. And then she went, "Frank, being gay, a word that I had never heard before, has its challenges, but it's perfectly normal to be gay or different. In fact, in some countries, you're even allowed to marry your homosexual partner. Also, some of the greatest people who have changed our world, such as Alan Turing, the father of modern computer, whose knowledge and invention saved millions of lives during World War II, were gay." Then she went again and asked me, "Frank, did you know Sir Arthur C. Clarke and Sir Elton John are also gay?" And then she looked right into my eyes and said, "Times are changing and you will be just fine. But always know that there's nothing wrong with you." And I think she was right. Times have certainly changed slowly, but surely. I believe my teacher saved me from me falling into a really dark place and being lost. And knowledge, understanding, and support kind of brought me to a place where I was comfortable enough to speak up and be nothing but myself. And I think that anyone can be that one teacher that does the right thing to make a difference in their students' lives, but also makes a difference in the world to make it a little better place. And kindness, tolerance, understanding, acceptance, that's all that it takes.
Absolutely, Frank. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's a beautiful experience you've had, and we wish you all the very best. But as you shared your story, and as Veronica was talking about the other boy, unfortunately, not everyone is lucky that way, are they? We still see in society where a lot of discrimination does take place.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think it is that we are the persons who could change it, right? As teachers, like if we have the chance to move along with these situations, right? As the teacher, the first thing that you have to do is you have to trust your student. They might come to you in search of help. They will come to you and say that this boy was bullying me, this one was discriminating me, this one make a joke of me, I am hurt with my feelings. So first, what you have to do is you have to be on their side. You should understand the situation of the student. And also you have the power, the teacher has the power or the ability to go to the administration and inform them that there is a such person in this class and we have to make it safer, and we should have a comfortable zone for this student, because after all, he or she is a student in our class. Now we meet poor students, like we meet rich ones, we meet weaker ones, we meet students who are with a lot of talents, who are very active in the class, and some are very low, but we have all these differentiate students in our classes. So this situation is also one of the situations that we could see in a classroom. So in this situation, if the teacher is a good listener to the student, that means you can listen to the situation of the student and you can help him out. You can understand, you can get to know his problems, his struggles that he's going through. Then you can, as a teacher, you can help him out to the resources. You can connect them to the resources that where they can get the counseling, the needed therapies that they need, or the treatments, or whether how to build up their personalities, how to motivate themselves, how to recover the situation. Whatever it is, you can guide them to the proper direction. And also, you as teachers, it is better that you can be known to this situation. Being known to this situation is understanding what is LGBT and what is their situation, how they feel and what they want. If you can understand this and be known, even the parents, the elders, or the administration of the school, the society, if we are very familiar of this situation, if we are known to this situation, we can make a comfort zone for these students, and they will be as normal humans and normal people in the society, and they will get the acceptance that they want. So the teacher is the most responsible person who can create an environment which is safe and where they are valued within the classroom and in your school. So the teachers have this wonderful opportunity not only to support them, but to make them educated on what they are, and educated the others, the peer students of the class, about what is this situation and how we could give them some caring and how we should accept them in the society. Then I think that is the main thing. We should be educated about this situation.
Absolutely, Veronica. As I mentioned, it is the lack of education that ignites all this discrimination, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. The education, what we need to give our students, and we need to incorporate this into our lessons and make our students aware. So let me give you an example on how we can do this in the classroom. Let's do an activity. Okay. Now, I would like for all of you to answer this particular question on the slide. It is, if you wanted to plant something, what steps would you take? Again, if you wanted to plant something, what steps would you take? However, to answer this question, you just have one rule. And that is, I would like you to put yourself in the shoes of a gardener. I would like you to imagine yourself in a garden and that you are actually going to plant something. Let's start the activity.
Okay.
Shoot your answers.
Do you want to unmute and say something or chat?
Yes, please, sir. I would like everyone to shoot their answers. There is no right or wrong one.
I invite everyone to unmute and speak.
Okay, I have no patience. I will start. I would dig the ground and prepare the ground.
Okay.
Pick up
And
the
what
right
else can we do?
plant. pick up the right plant which you're going to plant.
Okay. And then we have cut the ground, we have the plant. And then?
I
You
would
have
go
to-
and
you have
see
to
the
plant.
ground first of all. Watering.
Okay.
We have to plant and we have to nurture it.
Okay, plant and nurture it. Okay. Any more answers?
Protect it from animals and yeah, mainly by animals. From
Okay.
protection from animals. Yeah, you'd put a fence around it.
Nice one, sir. Yes, we need to protect them. Any more answers?
Fertilizing.
Fertilizing, okay. Good.
Watering.
Watering.
Take
Yes,
extra care
very
of the
good.
plant from weeds and stuff.
Yes, yes. You do need to remove the unwanted plants around them. Any more?
And there are a few answers on the chat.
Oh,
I think there's one there.
I would look for a place having sunlight and the soil quality for plantation. Okay, nice. All right, do we have any more answers? Anyone who would like to?
Yeah, cut off the unnecessary branches of the plant while it's growing.
Okay, all right, we could go with 2 more answers.
Hi, Anne. Thanks for the question. So you wanted the steps, is it? To
Yes.
plant? So, okay.
Yes.
So first thing is make sure the plant is, like Kishotana said, you can't plant a plant that grows in the shade in a very sunny place. So make sure you've got the correct place. Dig the soil, put the plant in, and make sure that the plant is secure in the soil so that it doesn't topple off.
Okay.
So make sure that there is enough of soil around it to keep it upright. Water it, and I would probably leave it for a while
For
so
a
that
while, okay.
yeah, it doesn't go into too much of shock. And then definitely, like Naren said, make sure that it is protected from other animals and weeds and so on. So those
All
would
right.
be my steps, Anne.
Thank you so much, Susan, and everyone for participating in this activity.
And you went on mute.
Sorry. So yeah, I was saying like, yes, now all of you all mentioned some steps, and we are as gardeners, we have already planted something and we are even protecting it. Like Sir said, we have a fence around it also. Now, how wonderful is that? So in a couple of days, you will see a plant like popping out of the soil and just waving hi at you. So it's going to be a beautiful experience, isn't it? But here's the thing. Your seed has been planted. Yes. But if you truly want it to nourish, you have to ensure there is sufficient water. Are the leaves looking healthy? Does the plant require fertilizer? And you would do this on a regular basis, like maybe early in the morning, in the afternoon, even like without even looking at anything else. You will have the perfect care for it, isn't it? And with all of this, it's done because the plant matters to you. You know that one day it is going to be growing into something beautiful, will be bearing fruit and be a valuable contribution to this world. So with that thought in mind, my dear audience, I would like to go back to a last point of discussion and conclude by sharing that as teachers, each of our workmates and our students are unique contribution to this world. And to see each of us flourish, we do need each other. So we can make a change by simply attentively listening, showing kindness, practicing empathy, and mostly being an example we want to see in this world.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for that interesting activity. And thank you, Veronica and Frank, once again for sharing your thoughts with us. I would now like to invite our guests and fellow teachers to share your experiences and opinions. What can we do as teachers to empower and educate our students? Can we have volunteers to unmute and speak, please?
Actually, the major part of the role of teachers is safeguarding all the students and treating them equally. Treating the students, identifying their potentials, caring them, and nurturing is very, very important being a teacher. So whatever the student is, despite whatever the interest they have, teachers should always be a teacher, a guideline for the students, and make sure there's no discrimination happen to any of the child based on any grounds, based on body color, based on any of the any discrimination should be avoided in the class. So whatever the children is, so the teacher should be a person who is guiding the child in a proper way. So the teachers, we might come across these kind of situations. So we have to address this particular topic to the children without being embarrassed and without, there might be situations in case if the teacher is unknown to the particular topic, they'll be embarrassed on the particular day. So I guess it's better being teachers, we should be aware of this particular situation and make sure our classroom is a place where all children will love to learn lessons from us. That's from my view.
Thank you. Thank you, Afrat. Anybody else who would like to share?
With him, Afrad, I would like to add a point. As he said that there shouldn't be an environment for discrimination in the classroom. And also while teachers are educated in that topic, so teachers also shouldn't be biased. So in the classroom, we shouldn't make ourselves embarrassed, or we shouldn't make the students be embarrassed. So it should be a place where every student have a good chance. So that's my stance.
Thank you, Rukshana. Anybody else? I would like our guests, if anybody would like to say something, share some opinions, views, thoughts. Well, if there isn't anything,
Yes,
I would like
Hi.
let me.
Yes.
Okay, Susan, you go ahead.
Sorry, Naren sir. So first of all, and Shazmin, Frank, and I think it was Veronica, thank you so much for this. It is a topic that needs to be addressed. And I think we are still quite new to it, though the world has moved quite rapidly in terms with the LGBTQ community. Sri Lanka, we're still getting accustomed to it, right? So thank you so much for taking it heads on and going ahead and, doing the program. Frank, salute to you, because I know how difficult it is to come out of the stigma and to share your story. And I'm sure that it is an inspiration to a lot of people over here. So just be yourself, be unique. So thank you so much for that, Frank. And thank you so much, Naren sir, for inviting us. And I know my students are also here. They're going to have a lot of questions. I can see a few of them are sending me in personal questions, which I will direct to the experts over here. So thank you so much, Naren sir. Thank you so much to the team. And actually, you asked the question that I wanted to ask, like regardless of your opinion, how do you handle a situation like this? I mean, because we are quite new to it in Sri Lanka. We are not yet accustomed to it. So if a child comes and approaches you with such a thing, what do you do? How do you deal with it? But I'm not too sure of the name for the gentleman who answered it. Nawaz, thank you so much. Afra, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Yes, thank you, team. Thank you, Naren sir.
Thank you very much. You don't need to thank me because the team did a wonderful job. And then I didn't give any of my input. I just said, this is the group, go ahead. This is what we're going to talk about. And They planned everything on their own. The slides are awesome, and more than the slides, the way they express it, the way they organize it, and boldly approach something like this was awesome, actually, this week. And then I really didn't expect such a wonderful job. I know you are capable, but this was more than my expectation, and I really thank you for that. And thank you very much for giving this opportunity, Susan, Sanjeeva, and Sanjay as well for attending this. I hope we did a good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. With that, I would like to conclude our discussion today. I thank you all once again. Thank you to our guests who joined us today. Thank you to the American Center and the Headway Learning Solutions team for giving us this opportunity to learn this way. Thank you, Susan, for being so supportive and being responsive to us whenever we required. And a heartfelt gratitude to you, Naren sir, for boosting our confidence, for guiding us, for teaching us and making us capable of transitioning from ordinary teachers into excellent teachers. We know we can't become as proficient as you, but we also know that we will always try to become someone like you. Thank you all once again. We hope you had an experience that is enlightening, and we hope we did a good discussion.